Hello. Thank you for joining me today. In the last video about bicycles, I saw something that looked like the spawn of a shopping cart and a bicycle. And now today, on my YouTube front page, the algorithm striked again, and I saw something like the car replacement bicycle. And it looked to be the same thing. I guess it's a BAKFIET. Yeah, this thing. I don't know if these are actually I don't know anything about them. If they're popular in Europe, hey, or what they are. But I was very curious, so I'm very excited to watch this video. Let's go. And it's by this channel right here, you know, Not Just Bikes. Link down below in the description. Let's see.
In 2014, we returned to Canada after many years of being.
I like how there's a sign that just says, Canadian that way. There's a Canadian man over there. So if you want to go visit him, turn left.
Abroad. We had been living in several countries and in cities that were walkable and had high-quality public transportation. But we knew we wouldn't have those luxuries back in Canada because Canadian cities are designed wrong. So before we even got there, I was already researching what car we would buy. I was hoping we
Wow. So Canadian cities are kind of like American cities.
could at least drive electric because I personally prefer not to give little kids asthma when I travel somewhere. So, for example, the BMW i3 was on our list, but I'm glad we didn't get that because this car is a piece of garbage. But anyway, after the expense of the move, we didn't
There's no way this guy's about to say he was going to buy a car and then found a bicycle instead.
have enough money to buy a car anyway, and so we went without one for a while. But then we found something.
That's what he's saying. What? No. A bathtub on wheels.
And better.
Okay. This is even better than a car.
This is a type of bicycle known in the Netherlands as a bakfiets, literally a box bike or
a bakfiets.
Bin bike. In English, these are usually just called cargo bikes, but that word can apply to many different types of bicycles, so I prefer to use.
I've never seen any of these, except maybe that last one. Just like a basket on the front. I've seen that.
To use the Dutch word.
What on the heck are these things?
This bakfiets became our car in Toronto, and we used it for everything. We even took it with us when we moved to Amsterdam in 2018, so we are probably some of the only people in the world to re-import a Dutch bakfiets back into the Netherlands. These are insanely practical bicycles. And
Budweiser makes one.
you will see them everywhere here, especially.
I just don't understand how you would turn. Mainly
Around schools and daycares. I genuinely believe that bikes like these have the potential to be the most important vehicles of the 21st century.
No. This is the most important vehicle of the 21st century. I would have believed you if you said this was from the number 2 century. Like year 200. What the heck's going on?
One of the unexpected benefits for us was just how much kids love riding in bakfietsen.
I would love it if I was a kid.
Universally to sitting in a car. And this is really easy to understand because this is what the view looks like for a young child sitting in a bakfiets. You can tell this was filmed by a kid because it's all shaky and on a Dutch angle. And this is what a young child sees in the back of a car.
The bakfiets does look a lot more fun.
There is no question as to which one of these is better from the point of view of a child. Riding like this allowed our kids to see the city as we did, and they developed a mental map of our neighborhood as well. They learned where everything was. They learned every landmark and every street name. This is so much more mentally engaging for a child than riding in a car. Of course, cargo bikes are really not.
Like, I understand. I agree with everything he's saying. It's just the idea that, for me, at least personally, the idea, oh, I'm just going to get rid of my car and get this thing. Like, it's not even close to. I have to commute like 80 miles to my job for one thing. I guess that's a little unusual, but even if I only had to commute like 15 miles, this would be pretty ridiculous. I guess I don't really have to bring that much stuff with me. I don't even know what I would. And I mean, I usually drop my kid off at the daycare, so I guess I'd put him in the bucket in the front. And
Nothing new. They have been around for over a century, and they used to be a common sight in cities all over the world, usually as delivery vehicles.
what did I say? They're from the 2nd century.
The book Curious George Takes a Job, published in 1947, shows this delivery man on a cargo bike, presumably in New York City. But if this book were published
way.
today, most people would be more surprised by the cargo bike than the monkey on the bus. Cargo bikes were also very common here in the Netherlands as well, but they became much less common as Dutch cities, including Amsterdam, became more friendly to cars and trucks in the 1960s and 70s. However, in the late 90s, the bakfiets made a comeback as an environmentally friendly and efficient way of transporting children in crowded cities. But these new bakfietsen are not like their cargo bike predecessors. First, they're a lot more agile and efficient, especially the two-wheeled versions. I really do not enjoy riding a three-wheel cargo bike because they're very slow and clunky, but also because they're really unstable if you turn too quickly.
Oh my God.
The only time a
Yeah, I'm not going to put my kid in the front of that.
three-wheel bakfiets is more stable than a two-wheel bakfiets is when it's stopped, but the two-wheel versions have great kickstands anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the big innovation that's really driving this comeback is electric assist, because that's what really makes these go from being an interesting novelty to being car replacement bicycles.
Okay, at least that like answers a little some part of some kind of equation. So it does have a motor in it.
It's incredible just how popular these bikes have become in some parts of the Netherlands. Any place where there are young children,
They do look like a lot of fun.
you will find bakfietsen. In North America, there's the stereotype of the suburban soccer mom. In the Netherlands, it's the bakfietsmoeder. Sometimes that term
Wow.
is used negatively, but that just proves that humans will complain about literally anything. Personally, I am very grateful to live in a city full of bakfietsmoeders
It does look like a more peaceful way to live.
instead of suburban soccer moms in giant SUVs. Now, there are some nice spots in most Canadian and American cities where you could conceivably ride a bakfiets, but the rest of these places are, let's be honest, completely car-infested sprawling seas of asphalt. So you do
Yeah.
still need a car sometimes. We manage these corner cases by using a local car share program, and I talked about that in a previous video. But even if your situation means you can't go completely car-free as we did, there are a huge number of people who could go from 2 cars to 1 car and a bakfiets. And there are lots of benefits to doing that, especially financially. This bakfiets with electric assist costs us about 4,500 Canadian dollars in 2015.
Damn! You could get a car for that much money. Just when I thought I might get a bakfiets.
This would seem like too much money to many people in Canada because they consider bicycles to be toys or recreational vehicles instead of being a serious way to get around. Yet they wouldn't blink at somebody who spent that much money on a used car, for example.
Yeah, but like he just said, the infrastructure is really not built for bicycles. Sadly.
So when people in Canada would ask about the cost of this bike, they were shocked by the
It does look like a lot of fun. Like, I want one. But that's why I'm disappointed. It's $4,500.
amount. I would pretend they were shocked at how cheap it was and would respond with, "Yeah, I know, right? It costs less than just the options on a new car."
But it's like 100 times more simple than a car.
And of course, a bakfiets has
Like, the amount of stuff you're getting is a lot less than a car, which is not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It just is what it is. It better be cheaper than a car.
minimal operating costs as well. There's no gas, no insurance, and maintenance is cheap. Even a very high-end electric bakfiets, like the Urban Arrow, cost around $7,000 in the US because they have to be imported from Europe in small quantities. But regardless, any car ownership calculator will tell you you'll be spending anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 per year to own and operate a motor vehicle. That means you could literally buy an Urban Arrow, ride it for a year, and throw it in the garbage. And you could do that every single year, and you'd still come out better financially than buying a car. This BAKFIETS has
Oh, that might be true unless you get paid by the hour and it takes you 6 hours to get to and from work on the buck feeds. But I'm just being the devil's advocate here. I do think it looks like a lot of fun. I feel like I keep saying that.
has literally saved our family tens of thousands of dollars since 2015. I am not exaggerating when I say that this has literally been the best purchase I have ever made in my entire life.
Wow.
Even better than the Curiosity Stream and Nebula.
Okay. Perfect time for me to pull this up. Hold on. This right here in the United States, these are quite common for if you're trying to pull your kids around on a bicycle. And this could be an electric bicycle. Those are becoming more popular. Yeah, it's just like a little thing you tow your kids around in. Basically, the only difference between this and the BAKFIETS is that this is detachable, and instead of being in the front, it's in the back. So I don't know what the implications of that are. I guess it would be a bit more convenient to like look at your kids and make sure they're okay. Maybe in the BAKFIETS. But this does seem more natural to me as far as physics, like having them in the back. I've never driven one of these though, so I don't know how easy they are. Whoa, what the heck? Hold on. What? I hate that feature in Windows where you shake stuff and it makes it like everything disappear. No one's ever done that on purpose. I promise, Microsoft. Not one person. Okay. Okay. Before I do that again, I'm just going to continue this video. If my computer will let me.
Skipped ahead just now because they thought this was a real ad are going to miss this clip of my cat going to the vet in a BAKFIETS. Besides trips to the vet, we would also use this bike for large grocery trips and, of course, taking our kids to school when they were too young to cycle by themselves. We brought our Christmas tree home in the BAKFIETS every year, which
Oh my God.
was way better than using a car because these bikes are so easy to clean. We used it to take home a used air conditioner.
Well, you can always put it on top of the car. That's what we always did.
Office chair, a TV, even planks of wood. And I take our large recycling and hazardous waste to the depot in the BAKFIETS too. In the Netherlands, there are BAKFIETS available to rent if you need to carry something large. There are these old-fashioned kind big enough to move a couch. And there are newer app-based services which make it trivially easy to rent one as necessary. Here in the Netherlands, bikes like these are also very
Oh my gosh. That is insane to me. How the kids are in front on this giant thing.
popular with daycares for traveling with large groups of children.
Wow.
And I see bakfietsen being used every day as commercial vehicles, delivering packages or groceries or mail or electronics. In the Netherlands, these have absolutely become truck replacement bicycles.
Wow, a DHL delivery bike. This one's in the back.
In cities, and you can understand why. They're cheap to operate.
I've never seen anything like this here in the States.
They never get stuck in traffic, and they never have problems finding parking when making deliveries.
Wow.
Commercial e-bikes are becoming hugely important for city logistics. Even Toronto has this bakfiets delivery service called Nearby. And there are all kinds of designs that are coming to market in the near future, but that will have to be a topic.
That's like not even a bicycle at this point. Yeah, no, it has more than 2 wheels. It's not a bicycle. What is this? This is just a truck.
For a future video.
A small truck with pedals.
Yeah, bakfietsen can be used for so many trips that most people think would require a car.
Dang, this guy's towing a whole ladder. He's hauling a ladder. An 8-foot tall ladder with his bakfiets.
I asked for some examples from my followers on Twitter, and even I was surprised by the response. People carried kids, but also adults. Lots of...
No way. There's no way the wife is sitting up front. She can pedal me.
Plants and Christmas trees, too.
Okay, how do you see?
Logs and even more modern fuels. Lots and lots and lots of grocery trips. There were a lot of dogs, and you can even buy bakfietsen specifically meant for dogs with a door at the front. There were photos of bakfietsen being used to move furniture, or to take out the trash, or any number of other things. I mean, look, if you try, you could dream up a scenario where you could use a car, yet couldn't do the same task with a cargo bike. But in my experience, the number of those scenarios that are actually likely to happen to most people on a regular basis are vanishingly small. And in almost all of those scenarios, you'd be better off renting a cargo van anyway.
I guess that's true. I mean, I'm trying to think of what I haul around, like a golf club bag. Yeah, that would fit in the BAKFIETs.
I cannot stress
And then I could bring it on the course as like my golf cart too.
this enough. With an electric bakfiets like this one, you can take almost all of the trips that a normal person living in a city would need to take under normal circumstances.
I mean, I don't live in a city, so maybe that's why this is like just seems impractical. I mean, I do technically live in a city, but it's on the outskirts. So it's not like you walk outside and see this, a concrete jungle just primed for a bakfiets. It's just roads. Miles and miles of roads.
And if we could use a bike like this as a full car replacement vehicle while living in Toronto with kids, even through the winter, then there have to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of families in North America who could reasonably do the same thing. That is, if the streets were safe enough that most people felt comfortable cycling with their kids. But most streets aren't safe. And that's
Car culture, I think, is just so ingrained into North America, especially the United States. I just can't. Gosh, being a U.S. citizen, I can't imagine. I don't know anybody. Well, maybe I know like one kind of more hippie type person who would give up their car in favor of the bakfiets, but I just don't. I think the cars are too ingrained. It's like a part of your personality. What type of car you have. It would be a lot to give up. It'd be like giving up your bed.
the problem. Because millions of people are being robbed of the opportunity to adopt an efficient and practical mode of transportation that could literally save them thousands of dollars per year. Because we've designed our cities only for driving.
Yeah.
And when urban planners try to make the streets safer, their critics use excuses like families and hauling cargo as reasons not to build safe infrastructure. Because those ignorant people can't imagine a bicycle path being used by anyone except physically fit men in their 20s or 30s. But when you actually build safe infrastructure, you get stuff like this, and everybody is better off for it.
It does look like a lot better way to live than just being stuck in your car in traffic. Like depressed, mad. These people are out here having fun. I do wish I could bicycle to the store and back.
We need to design our cities for bakfiets and other kinds of cargo bikes. They don't need to be used by every person for every trip, but they do need to be an option for environmental reasons, for financial reasons, or even just because they're more efficient. That means bicycle paths need to be built everywhere people need to go, and they need to be designed wider. Bike parking needs to be designed to fit these kind of.
I've never seen bike parking. What is this, a bicycle garage?
Bicycles too, including spots on the street like here in Copenhagen or here in Paris. The bakfiets revolution is coming, and the most successful city.
I'll believe it when I see it, at least here in America. The bakfiets revolution.
Cities will be the ones that are prepared for it.
That's so funny.
I'd like to thank my supporters on.
When was this video made? I'm curious. Like, okay, 7 months ago. All right, I'm ready for the bakfiets revolution. I would like. Hey, I'm sold. I want one. I don't think I'm gonna sell my car for it, but I want one. That was interesting. Very interesting. There you go. Thank you to Not Just Bikes for that very informative video. Go check out their channel. Link down below. And thank you for watching. I hope you guys are doing good. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, good. Bye.